Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to this week's episode of the Bowhike podcast, brought to you by me, Royce Chambers, your host and fellow hunter-gatherer. This week, I am joined by my hunting buddy and good friend, Chris Murphy. We discuss how to not be that guy. You don't want to be the guy that's the centerpiece of somebody's story about a bad day in the woods. So this is our compilation of kind of funny stories and kind of serious don'ts of hunter etiquette, you could say. So also you get to hear the hilarious story of how I almost broke my leg by being an idiot. That's also a big don't. Don't be an idiot. And I could tell you, it's not fun being the idiot. So, that being said, if you would like a hat, which you guys know, my hats are sweet. They make you look cool or something. I don't know. They up your cool factor. You can hit me up on Instagram, which I changed my name to the Bowhike podcast, which makes a ton of sense. So I decided to do that. Hit me up on there, or Facebook, just the Bowhike podcast, or my email, which is roycechambers116@gmail.com. Hit me up. Let me know what color you want. If you find any color of Richardson 112 or 115 that tickles your fancy, shoot me the details on it and let me know, because I can do a custom order. I'm getting ready to run a custom order right now. I've got a few different colors that I wouldn't normally offer that I'm getting for some people. So just let me know. Also, I got a big pile of decals from my buddy Lenny over at Vital Signs Northwest. So if you want a couple of those, shoot me a message and I'll get them in the mail for you. And with no further, here's this week's episode of the Bowhike podcast. We're going to call it Don't Be That Guy. Yeah, the stage has been set for podcasting and comfort. We're rolling. I think Chris has got some Crown in his iced tea because he's a little bit girlish.
Yeah, I got
I'm just got ice and some Lot 40, some rye whiskey. So I don't know what it is about podcasting that I feel inclined to consume beverages whilst doing so, but it's one of those things, man.
It's just a relaxing time.
It is a relaxing time.
Kick back,
hang
have
out,
a drink.
BS. Talk about people that have been mean to you in the woods because we're triggered by these folks.
Lord knows everybody's had them if you hunt.
Yeah, especially if you hunt around here.
Especially if you hunt rifle season around here.
So, I've got one of my, I guess you can call him buddies. He feeds me because I'm homeless.
Pretty much.
Yeah, he feeds Chantel and I on a at least weekly basis. For a while, it was nightly. We're poor people. So we go to Chris's house to eat. This is my hunting buddy, who you saw him and his cute daughter in...
the star of the show.
The star of the show, yeah. In my bear hunting film, if you watch that. If you haven't, you're probably better off. So I've got Chris Murphy, my hunting partner slash neighbor, taxi driver even.
Yeah, we could go there. Yeah.
Because I take advantage of the fact that Chris has a child, and
The car seat won't fit in your truck.
well, the car seat will.
Yeah, but it makes it uncomfortable.
Well, not only is it uncomfortable, but then you have to move the car seat.
That's true.
From your truck to my truck.
Everything out of the back of your truck.
Please.
It's like Chantel's car. Just saying.
My truck is normally just, maybe I carry a thing too many at any given time. Shotgun, 22. You can never go anywhere without your 22. Mm-hmm. You gotta have a shotgun in case you see some, quail, grouse.
There's always like 3 med kits.
One med kit.
Oh, it looks like 3 back there.
Yeah, well, it's a large med kit.
Oh, okay.
For those odd times that I cut my finger off in the back of a truck.
Like last week.
So, yeah, Chris is my chauffeur. Chris, little introduction, man. What's going on?
Oh, not a whole lot. Living the dream. Got an elk tag, deer tag coming up. Well, 3 of us have the elk tag coming up.
Yeah.
You and I got the archery tag. So,
buck tag.
Yeah, archery deer tag. We're gonna be doing some serious hunting here.
Yeah.
Starting next Saturday.
Man, I kind of screwed up on my tags this year.
You and me both.
Yeah, it sounded so good and it looked good on paper, and now I'm like kicking myself in the ass for my tag selection this season. I'm like, everything's piled in to November, and I've got to be elk hunting for Chantel while I should be bow hunting for deer. But I'd much rather see her kill an elk than me kill a deer this year.
Right there with you. I put my wife in for a muzzleloader tag thinking, she ain't going to draw that. It turns out she drew it.
Well, if you
the same day as archery season.
If you would have looked at the draw odds, you would have known that it's 100% draw.
It just looked like such a good tag. Everybody else would be putting in for it.
Nobody wants to shoot muzzleloaders.
Late season muzzleloader? I mean...
Yeah, but your range from the pickup window is lessened with a muzzleloader.
No further than anybody shot a deer from this year.
Yeah, no kidding. But
at least from what I saw.
So what about a little background on you, man? The listeners want to know. I have my few far between listeners. They want to know about you.
All right, well, born and raised here in this little awesome town of Caneyville. Hunted my whole life around here. Barely got out. I've only hunted over east 3 times. And go back next year. So, killed, I don't know how many deer. 3, 4 elk. 3 bears. A cougar.
Is that it? 3 bears? I feel like you've killed more bears than that.
4 bears. It's only 3 or 4. Yeah,
oh.
No. I've just been around a lot of people that have killed bears.
Yeah, because I've killed 3 in the last year and a half.
Yeah.
3?
Yeah, 3.
Mm-hmm. 2 falls, 1 spring bear. Yeah. Chris is like that's like our go-to, bear hunting.
Oh, yeah. It's one of my new favorites.
Man, it's becoming one of my favorite seasons to hunt. I don't know. It's just one of those, especially spring bear, like the first chance to get out, everything's greening up. Mm-hmm. You don't have to deal with a ton of idiots.
Actually, spring season for us this year was really good.
Yeah, it was. We saw a lot of bears.
We saw a lot of bears and very few people.
Yeah, it was pretty interesting. Pays off hunting during the week.
That's true.
But, hunting during the week sucks. Don't do it. Especially if you live around Caneyville.
Yeah, Saturdays, Sundays only. That's the prime time.
Deer are normally at work. Bears too during the weekdays.
As my daughter would say, they flew to the moon. So
apparently they fly to the moon.
Yeah.
You don't want to be out there during the weekdays. It's really bad. You run into a-holes like us.
That's a fact.
Yeah. A-holes that will stop and help you pack your deer and bear and elk out of whatever crap hole you shot it in.
If it's a little one. I mean,
yeah.
I don't want to work too hard for you. But...
Yeah, I don't want to work too hard ever, but somehow we always find ourselves in a crap hole. So,
Chris, I thought your bear was going to be miserable this year. That turned out to be...
I mean, it was steep.
It was steep, but it wasn't that far, so it turned out to be really nice.
Yeah, it was short, but brushy.
Very brushy.
But if I would have shot the first bear that I missed, that would have been miserable.
That would have been miserable. We'd probably still be there.
Yeah, we'd
we
still be there.
To eat it to survive.
Well, yeah. And Addie, she eats a lot.
Oh, that's true. The bear would be gone. She'd eat it all.
She'd eat the whole... I don't know. She's pretty terrified of bears.
Yeah, that's true. When they're dead and laying there, she doesn't really like that.
No.
She doesn't mind the one on the wall, but...
She kisses the bear on the wall.
Yeah.
So, Chris and I decided that it would be... So we were chasing some deer around this week. And we had doe tags. Doe or spike tags. And it was the last week of rifle season for buck deer, which is like, basically...
Apparently everybody waited to hunt this last week.
Yeah, if you guys have ever, like, turned out a bunch of cattle or something, like, it's like a stampede of pickup trucks. And this is the most times in 1 year I've seen barrels hanging out the window.
Yeah.
It's never been... I've, like, never seen that.
Yeah, I stopped and yelled at a guy.
Yeah, like, dude, I'm passing you, and your barrel's facing right in my face as I pass you on the road.
Guarantee they're still around chambered in that thing.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
I mean,
man, if I was a state trooper, I'd have a heyday.
Fact.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah.
So, Chris and I thought it would... Man, there's spiders everywhere. Chris and I thought it would be fun to highlight, not only from this hunt, but just in general, our... you could call them our favorite people that we've encountered in the woods. We're going over our hunting etiquette don'ts. I don't think we're going to do any do's.
The Don't Be That Guy podcast?
It could be Don't Be That Guy. Something like that. Yeah. So we just thought it would be fun. Maybe we'll we don't really have much of a game plan here. Maybe just go through our top don'ts and maybe share some fun stories about the people that did the don'ts.
Yeah.
I think that's pretty easy to...
pretty self-explanatory, and...
Well, it's pretty easy.
There's going to be a few of them.
Yeah, we could go for hours, but we'll keep it nice and tidy here. Probably run it an hour or so. So, do you want to kick it off with your first don't? Do you have a don't in mind?
My first don't. Yeah, I can do that. Took a couple buddies of mine. We decided to go over to, a secret place over east where a few other people hunt for waterfowl. And get everything set up. We're out there half hour, 45 minutes before shooting light. Everything's set up. Get the blind all brushed in. Here's some guy walking behind us. He walks into like 20 feet from us before he finally sees us. And he's like, "Oh, sorry, didn't see you guys there. I'll go back here a couple 100 yards and I'll set up." He went probably 50 yards behind us, maybe, if that. Anyways, me and a couple of guys were just like, yeah, whatever. He has no decoys. He's just the birds are coming to us this direction. They're not gonna swing behind us. Be fine.
Yeah, hunting your decoys.
Yeah, absolutely. So, first flight of snows comes over. I sail one. Goes towards him. It lands probably halfway between us. The guy never fires a shot. Not one. So I grab my stuff and I start walking for it. He sends a dog after it. The dog gets it. I'm thinking, hey, alright, cool. I don't have to go run out there and get it. The guy can see me from where he's sitting. So he sees me walk all the way out there to that goose, or where the goose was, and start walking up to him. I get over there. I was like, hey, bud, sailed that goose. I saw you got it with your dog. Can I have it? Nope, I shot this bird. You didn't fire a shot. Oh, yeah, I shot 3 times. I killed it on the last shot.
He must have one of those fancy silencers.
It must have been, because, 75 yards away, 50, 75 yards away, I never heard his gun go off. Buddies were all laughing. They were like, yeah, guess we'll just shoot another one. I walked all the way back over there. Was just bragging to the guys, hey, these guys over here are pretty sweet. When you shoot a bird and it goes and lands over by them, they hand it right over to you. Then I sail one to a guy and he won't give it to me. So, I even tried to tell him it was going to be my limit and I was going to walk out. Didn't work.
Yeah, the junky part too is it's completely illegal.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I don't know. It depends. If the goose died when it hit the water, then technically...
No.
Well, then technically, if he killed that thing, it's his bird in this state. If you think about it. But do you want to get technical on laws, or do you want to talk about being an ethically responsible person?
I'm thinking more the ethically responsible person.
Yeah.
He obviously didn't shoot. He knew he didn't shoot. But he said it was his bird. His dog went and got it. Whatever.
At that point, why are you going to start a fight?
Yeah. I just walked out there and continued to shoot at birds that would then flare and not give him an opportunity.
Yeah. Sometimes you gotta be that asshole.
Gotta be that guy.
You gotta rise against. Protect what's yours. Protect this house. Mm-hmm. Yeah, man. I don't know how many times, especially when I used to waterfowl hunt in California, we multiple times would set up in like a free roam area on some of the refuges, set up our decoys, and you can hunt with electronic spinning wing decoys down there.
Wish we could here.
I don't know, man.
I just want to try it one year.
Yeah.
See if it makes a difference.
It does.
See, I want to try it.
Yeah. It does early, but if they've seen it before, then it's pretty much pointless. Right?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
But we set up all of our... I have a similar one. We set up all of our decoys and had, nice spread built. We were out there, just like you are, early, get everything dialed in, and first light comes around, this dude's like 40 yards off of our mojo duck. I'm like, hey man, what are you doing? He's like, what? I'm just hunting over here. I'm like, yeah, you didn't bring a decoy with you. You're just sitting on my mojo duck. So he's sitting there trying to snipe the birds as they're coming into our spread. And I'm just like, are you kidding me? Like, where, I don't know, man. I have trouble, asking a lady at a store where the popcorn is or something. Same. Let alone... Because it feels like kind of like, I don't want to bother her. I'll figure it out myself. But yet for you to waltz into a dude's decoy spread and sit on top of it, where does the, and a lot of this I posted on Go Wild. Well, shout out to Brad Luttrell on the Go Wild app. It's awesome. Chris is going to get on there because I'm going to make him. Because Chris almost got banned from Facebook for scaring his daughter, who's 2 and didn't have a shirt on.
Yep.
And apparently it's child nudity, some kind of bull crap.
Yes. Something like that.
Anyways,
That's how they put it, yeah.
Not to spin off that super hard, but I posted on there that we were going to be doing this episode, and had a couple guys comment on there, about one guy messaged me and said something about, years ago he shot something and a guy, recovered it, and he didn't. It was the guy's first time hunting, and rather than start a fight over it, maybe make the guy lose interest, did the right thing and just left well enough alone and told the guy, like, all right, man, yeah, you know what, go ahead. And so he was saying, and it brought a different opinion to me on it, because I was thinking, like, what an a-hole. And then, I was saying we were going to share stories about people, don't be that guy. And then he's saying about how he had this guy, and maybe made a difference in whether that guy wanted to hunt or not for the, the rest of his life, because you run into somebody that that is new and shoot something, and then instantly they're like, man, hunting's rough out here because this guy, wants to be an asshole and wants to get in a fight.
Claiming the thing I just shot.
Yeah, so this guy, Dan Troop, I hope I'm saying that right, he said he once had a guy shoot a buck that he had mortally shot, and the guy tagged it before he could recover it himself. So he pleaded his case to the guy, showing him the blood trail, and others in his hunting party sided with him. However, the guy wouldn't hand over the animal because it was his first buck. So he said it was heartbreaking, but he realized it was better to allow that guy to keep the animal to keep him interested in hunting rather than lose an animal and put a sour taste in his mouth, maybe didn't want to hunt anymore. So it's definitely a different mindset.
Yeah.
Something that I never really think about. I told him he did a good thing. It's sometimes worth keeping somebody's interest rather than ruining their first experience. But like I've said however many times, you have a hunting tag in your pocket, you're an ambassador for the sport, what we love doing, so why drive people away?
Absolutely.
And so I thought that was pretty neat. But on the don'ts, I got a don't. Don't be the guy. And sometimes I get it, like, you have here in Oregon, like a lot, we hunt clear cuts for bucks. So a lot of guys think they own these roads, and I get it, man. You maybe saw a buck there last year, and now you're like, man, this is the road. But you're on the main line, and you decide to park your truck in the middle of the road on the main line. So not only can people not get past you, well, I guess that's the only. People can't get past you. Like, If I drive up and I see a truck on a landing, I'm going to drive past him if I'm trying to get to somewhere I'm going. I'm just going to drive past him. I'm not even going to look at that unit.
Yep.
Because I figure that guy beat me there fair and square. That's the way it is. If I wanted to be there first, I should have peeled my back off the bed a little bit earlier and got there before him.
Yeah.
So a guy, and I understand the frustration, and a lot of people don't think the way that we do on that. A lot of guys would say, well, I'm going to park right next to this guy. My experience in spring bear season this year. I'm going to park right next to this guy, and I'm going to go stand right next to him and hound him until he leaves because I want to hunt this spot. Well, so the guy that parks in the middle of the freaking road, if you're that guy, don't be that guy. It's the most frustrating thing. So this year, I was spring bear hunting, and I hope these dudes are listening. Come knock on my door, man. Let's talk it out. So I go up on this unit. I'm there, I guess, what's it get dark in the spring? About 6? 7? About that time of year?
Yeah, somewhere about there.
So I'm like up there at, what did I tell you? I was going up there at 2:30 or so.
Something like that. You're up there pretty early.
I parked my truck way, back off the main line. And I walk down to where the main line does go this far, but it doesn't go anywhere. It dead ends there. Mm-hmm. And I park there, and I walk down, it's probably like a quarter mile down those. It's like down some power line right away. I set up there. I got my tripod. I'm glassing. Got my rifle out. And these guys clearly see me, on the way up. And they're like, oh. So anyways, these guys walk up next to me while I'm sitting there glassing. And it's pretty windy, so I don't hear them. And I just, like, felt this presence, I look over my shoulder, and these two dudes are standing, like, 12 feet to my right. This is a gigantic unit. Like,
yeah,
it's huge. You can glass from a different spot than where I'm sitting at. They come up and stand, like,
places.
12, 15 feet off to my side. They're talking super loud now. They're making all kinds of noise. So then these guys end up just kind of like glaring me down, like expecting me to get up and leave. I'm just sitting there minding my own business, glassing for bears. I'm watching these deer, and there's no bears in the unit at this point. And so then these dudes drop their beer cans, next to me, within like 10 feet, kind of throw in my direction, and kind of like pout, cry a little bit, turn around and walk the other way. So anyways, I finished glassing this unit and I wanted to go look somewhere else. So I go to pull out of there and I pass them on the road, and they like name drop this old dude like I'm supposed to know who he is, and they're like, well, he's headed up here, so you better not be up here because he'll be angry. And I'm like, oh, okay, I'm sorry, I didn't realize that he owned this piece of public land. Like, I'm sorry, you did is that a problem that I was here first? And you guys, sorry, I work weird days. I get weekdays off.
Yep.
So I was here first. Sorry, you got off work late, man. Go find somewhere else to look. Dude, there's like probably every 10 units you look in, you'll find a bear.
I mean, that is the only unit on that road, and you have to drive all the way to the end to it.
Okay, but that's fine. Don't be a dick.
That's one unit in the entire state. Like,
yeah, you can. I would have had no problem if they were like 100 yards away, glassing another part of the unit that I couldn't even see.
Drove past you, went down to the end of the unit, glassed back up or something.
Yeah, or just weren't a-holes about it.
Yeah.
Like, walked up and were like, hey, man, how's it going? What's going on? Oh, I see you're here first. We're going to go glass the other side of the unit. Is that cool? Yeah, sure. Just like a little bit of mutual respect goes a long way.
Yeah.
It just drives me up a wall.
I don't know how many times this year, well, last 2 years that we've hunted together, we pull up somewhere and there's a person at the end of the unit. I turn around and leave.
Yeah, we just go to a new one.
Go to a different unit. All right, somebody's here. Cool.
I understand. Yeah, I understand in some places. Like, I know back east, the public land's super limited and these dudes hunt on top of each other. And that's, I mean, we've got expansive amounts of properties you can look at here. It's no, you and I could be, literally, we could be on the same landing. And for those of you that aren't from logging country, landing's a big flat spot, kind of like turnout at the end of a road, where they have the yarder that pulls the logs up the hill for these big logging operations. So we glass where they logged because there's grass and saplings and green growth in there that the animals are feeding on. So we sit up on those and glass these units for deer and elk and bears. And these are everywhere, guys. Like, literally, you can't look at a hillside around here without seeing a couple units.
Step out the garage and see a couple.
Yeah, from where we're in the ghetto. We're like ghetto podcasting right now. Chantel and I are in the middle of getting ready to move. So I'm going to have a podcast studio, we'll call it. It's an office.
Sounds good.
Huh?
It sounds good.
It sounds nice. We'll call it a studio.
Right.
Podcast studio. The Bowhike Podcast Enterprises studio. That sounds nice.
It does sound good.
Yeah, I like it. So we'll have a studio soon, but for now, we're sitting in my shop.
/ reloading room.
/ reloading room, bow hanging room, decoy shed. We're like, we slid some boxes around. We're like crammed in the corner over here at the workbench with my laptop and microphone on a tote, on a turquoise blue tote, sitting in a couple of Tommy Bahama lounge chairs. So,
which had Black Widows in it when we opened them.
Yeah, there was a Black Widow in it. So you could say we're killing the game, I guess. This is pretty high class stuff, guys.
Or we're going to die during the game, one or the other.
We could die during this. There's a chance. So, yeah, we're in the Ghetto Podcast studio. It's pretty legit, but... All right, do you want to take the next don't?
The next don't? How about
this? Do you want to talk about a do that you could do in that? I guess we did talk about the do.
We did do. You see somebody at the end of a landing...
Have some respect, even. Or just ask the guy, right? Like, we were just talking about... Because we saw a story, a friend of ours ran into... was it Trevor?
Yeah.
Ran into Trevor Fisher from Born and Raised. Ran into them up on a mountain, and they went to do the respectful thing, saw some guys glassing up on a unit, didn't know who they were, went to back out of there, and this guy comes running down the road waving his arms at him. So they pull back up there, and he says, hey, there's a buck in here.
Trevor and Trent.
Trevor and Trent. If either of you guys have a buck tag and you want to shoot it, we're not going to shoot it. So she goes up there and says, I have a buck tag. And he let her shoot his 28 Nosler at this buck, killed it. They filmed the whole thing. Mm-hmm. So, like, that right there is a do.
Absolutely.
And that's the same thing. I had this doe tag. I didn't have a rifle deer tag. But if I would have glassed up a buck and somebody came up, I would have flagged somebody down in an instant. Yeah. I would have put him on my gun, let him shoot it for sure.
Well, I killed my spike last Sunday.
Yeah.
On the way out, spotted some does. Met up with a guy coming up. He asked him if he had a doe tag. He goes, yeah. Hey, a couple 100 yards up the road, just spotted 4 does. I had no reason to be hunting them. Had no reason to be pushing them around. I was getting out of there. He had a doe tag. There's his deer.
It's the right thing to do, man.
Absolutely.
Because the more we push people... You know, like, I don't rifle hunt deer or elk for a reason. It just
Yeah.
seems that for the most part, it's kind of getting worse with the popularity of bow hunting going up. But it just seems like as a whole, if you're in an area where guys are hiking in and getting after it, it's a different dynamic of people.
Mm-hmm.
Or, there's like a more of a mutual respect, like, hey, I just accidentally bugled you in, man.
Yeah.
My bad, but I did have a bull going down here. You want to go get after him? Let's hook up and go and try and kill this thing and help each other out, because it's a lot of people, like I would say that 99% of people have good intentions, good morals, want to help people out, want to do the right thing. And then there's 1% bad apples that ruin it for everybody.
Yeah, or you get to this last week of deer season when everybody's frustrated. They haven't seen anything. All they're seeing is other people, and they're just bombing through you to go to a unit,
Yeah.
or muzzle flashing as they drive by because they don't even pull their gun out of the window.
Dude, is that gonna be your next don't?
That's a solid don't. Don't drive around with your gun barrel hanging out the window.
Not only that, but don't drive around with the round chambered either.
Like, I understand it's legal in Oregon and all, but
To drive around round chambered?
you can have a round chambered in Oregon. Drive around.
Oh, it's not on an ATV.
Not on an ATV, correct.
Yeah.
You can do it in your truck, car, whatever, just not on an ATV.
Dude, it's still dumb.
But, case in point, yesterday, when Chantel and I were out hunting, coming down off the mountain, guy coming up, he didn't even lift up his gun barrel.
It's pointing right at your face.
Pointed right at my face as I drove past him.
Gosh.
Yep. I couldn't believe it, and Chantel was just like, "Really?"
Yeah.
She's yelling at him from the passenger side. But I mean, there's 3 of us in that truck, and we got a gun barrel pointed at us.
Yeah.
Just
That'll make you feel uncomfortable.
yeah, just a little bit. So
Man.
he had a company truck. I didn't get to catch the name, but if I would have got the name, I'd been calling somebody.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm all for minding your own business until it's something that's going to
Put me in danger.
put me or somebody else. I mean,
Yeah.
like you see that and you don't say anything, and then you hear about somebody getting shot, you're
Yeah.
gonna feel like a real asshole.
Yeah, there were 3 or 4 other rigs above us that we had already passed that he was going to go drive past.
Yeah.
I don't know if he lifted his barrel for them, but he sure didn't for us.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. That's
It's
freaking
just-
frustrating.
It was. I mean, I
Man.
get it, last day of the season, last 3 hours, but you can't shoot from the road anyways.
Right.
So
Right.
what's that extra half a second going to get you with the
Mhm.
gun sitting in your lap versus sitting next to you in the truck?
Yeah.
Dude.
Hunter etiquette, man.
Yeah.
What's another one? I'm having like a hard time thinking of some of these, and I know there's stuff that pisses me off every day.
About that guy in the pickup the other day when you and I went out.
Which guy?
The one that come up to the unit or the landing there while we were waiting for the fog to lift and peeled out.
Oh
on it.
yeah, that guy. I don't know if he was being rude or not. That was like the only turnaround, but he did peel out of
It is
there.
the only turnaround, but yeah, he stomped on it, peeled out in the mud there.
That kind of goes back to to the first point though. Like, don't if you see somebody.
He did the right thing. He let us go past him, which was awesome.
Yeah.
However, I
Ooh,
definitely
that brings my next don't. Go ahead.
I definitely saw him in the rearview mirror while we were sitting there waiting for the fog to lift. 100 yards back, and he saw us, kept driving, drives all the way up to the landing, which is the end of the road. There's nowhere else to go. Drives up right next to us, then gives us a weird little hand gesture as he drove kind of past us, and then spins out at the landing, smiling,
Laughing.
driving off the other way. It's like,
Yeah.
all right, cool. You just scared everything out of the unit because you weren't the first one here.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Also, because you let us pass, you should expect that.
Yeah, exactly. There's only 3 units on that road.
Yeah,
Something like that.
3 or 4.
We went to the first one.
Yeah.
That would have gave him the whole rest of the road to go to, but
Yeah.
he was mad we were there first. And
But then again, if he would have just pulled up and been like, "Hey guys, what's up? Oh, just
Yeah.
waiting for the fog to clear. Cool. You mind if we glass this unit too? No, you got a buck tag? Yeah. Cool. If I glass a buck up over here, you want to shoot it? We'll help pack it out."
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that would have been my response.
You had the doe tag, so
Yeah, I would have been fine with helping that guy
Yeah,
get a buck. But
absolutely.
that brings my next one. If you guys drive around here, probably anywhere, I don't know. It drives me up a wall when somebody's like road hunting and going incredibly slow. Like, I need a sign on my truck that says "not road hunting," right? Like a big sign, like on the
Yeah,
ambulance, it's
yeah.
written backwards,
Yeah.
so you can see it in your rearview mirror. Anyone that says "not a road hunter," just so that I could like be like, "Hey man, don't worry, I'm not gonna shoot anything from the road here.
yeah.
Let me just go past you because you're driving 4 miles an hour."
I got a unit I want to get to. Move over.
Yeah, so that's my next one. Slow driver not letting you pass, hogging the whole road. Like, you obviously have a turnout, and you don't want to let me go past you in the turnout. You're driving super slow because you're road hunting. Which, man, like, I don't know. I've gotten bad about it before and, like, harped on people for road hunting. But if that's your game, that's your game. Whatever. Don't shoot from the road, because guess what? It's illegal. I wish there was more scruffies.
Yeah.
I don't know what they call them in other places. Like fake deer? Or the Oregon State Police has these freaking awesome scruffies. They're like robotic.
Robotic deer elk.
With eyes that reflect light for spotlighters and stuff. And they'll set them 50 or 100 yards off the road and wait for guys to shoot them from the road. And you said you saw a video where guys were just cruising by, like not even stopping.
Oh, yeah. I watched a video one time, and I believe it was over east where the video was taken, but I took a class, and this is one of the videos they showed. One guy literally didn't even stop his pickup. He slowed it down to like 3 miles an hour, but shot off the mirror driving.
Oh my gosh. Dude, you know how bad I shoot anyways. Could you imagine me trying to shoot on the move?
That's what we all asked. We asked if he hit it, but they didn't have the answer to us, or for us. But
because I shoot bad enough. Well, you've seen me shoot.
I've seen you shoot a few times, yeah.
I shoot bad enough, like, bagged in from a bipod with a accurate rifle. Like, I can't even imagine trying to shoot out the window, let alone it being, like, man, I don't know. That's just one of those things, not being certain of what's behind it and all that. That goes back to, like, me wishing, and you guys can flame me all you want, but I wish there was hunter safety in every state. Whether you're 7 and you want to go hunting or you're 37 and you want to go hunting, I wish hunter safety was a requirement.
Yeah.
Because a lot of it covers those specific things, appropriate calibers for what you're hunting, appropriate distances for most people, unless you practice at these long ranges, and all that stuff, man. It just makes it I think, and it does cover some, like, hunter etiquette in there.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
It's not going to cover,
It's not going to cover everything because, well, I get amazed every year, to be honest.
Yeah, something new surprises me every year. I don't know. But I don't know. I wish it was a requirement. It's cheap, and I'm sure they could find instructors. I would volunteer to be an instructor.
Yeah, there's several classes around here.
Yeah, for hunter safety, but it's only required if you're a kid.
Right.
And I know if you want to hunt out of state, like Idaho requires it, California requires it, all these places require hunter safety. Mm-hmm. So even if you want to hunt out of state, you still have to get it.
Right.
So it's one of those things that I just wish would be implemented, but I don't know if it falls into hunter etiquette, but I hate hearing people complain about not seeing any animals and blaming it on They're like, drive around for however many weeks, spend $400 in fuel, never see anything besides asses and elbows.
And that's one of my favorites is listen.
And then they go, gosh damn it, ODFW, man, the Department of Fish and Game, they just want wolves to kill all the animals and there's no animals around here. Which, I mean, I would like to see cougars hunted with dogs again.
Fact. Yeah.
But
like ASAP, like 2019.
Yeah, I would love for that to be a thing, like right now.
Yeah, I've seen 3 this year.
Yeah, I saw one. Should we go off on that tangent?
Where's your suspenders?
Yeah, I don't own suspenders anymore, guys. If you want to know why, I'll tell you. So, I went to pick up my pile of stickers, which if you want one, you guys know how to get a hold of me on Instagram. I changed my name, though. It's just the Bowhike Podcast now on there. You know how to get a hold of me there. And I always leave my email in the show notes, Facebook. Just message me. I'll mail you a couple of them. Anyways, I went to pick up my pile of stickers, and I decided, well, I'll throw the rifle in the truck, and if I leave there early enough, I will make this loop.
Take the back road home.
Take the back road home, make a loop across a mountain, glass some units, try and shoot a deer. So that's what I did. So this loop, my Chantel knows and Chris know, it should take probably about an hour and a half, 2 hours.
2 hours.
If you're glassing all the units
if you stop and
for
glass, 2
20
hours.
minutes, yeah, 2 hours. So I start the loop at like 5:15.
Somewhere up 5. Chantel told me about 5 was the last time she heard it from you.
Yeah, so I ripped through the first half of it because it was getting dark at like 6:30. So I just like haul ass through the first half. There's a bunch of people over there anyways. So I'm like, I know the unit I want to get to, and I'm going to go glass there. So I do all my glass, and I end up seeing $4, $3, $3, and no does and no spikes. They were all forked antlers. So I'm like, okay, that's cool. And if anybody would have been around, I've been like, hey man, there's a buck over here. You want to shoot it?
Yeah.
So anyways, I do all that, and then I'm on the main line, and you can see down like a couple hundred yards, and I see this cat go bounding across the pavement, but still, it's a BLM road, but it's paved. And so I see this cat bound across it, so I drop the skids, grab my rifle, and for some reason, it was like dusky, like still legal shooting light, but I knew it was going to be dark by the time I made it back to my truck. So I grabbed my big flashlight, my rifle, I have an open sight 300 Savage, and grabbed that little lever gun, and one trekking pole for some reason, which I'm incredibly thankful that I grabbed. Nothing else, though. Goes back to I think I talked with Scott about being prepared, like how crazy it is when you jump an animal and you just bomb out of your truck, and then you're like, man, I'm screwed.
Yep.
So I did all this. So anyways, this cat, I'm like running full speed down this paved road, which is dumb. I got my rifle slung over my shoulder on my back. I got this trekking pole. I'm like hauling ass. So I get down to where he jumped across the road, and I look up there, and I just see his head and his neck peering around this tree. So I jack around into my gun, because, once again, don't want to have one in the chamber. So I jack around in the gun, which it's the world's loudest action.
Yeah.
It's a rotary mag lever gun with giant bolt. Anyways, it's clanky. So I clank around, we'll call it, into the chamber. And I go to squeeze, and I left the safety on. So I click the safety off, and when I click that off, he's like, oh, screw you, dude. And like as I'm squeezing, he starts running. So I was pretty certain I missed him or I gut shot him. And so I was like, in the midst of me making poor life choices, I'm like, wounded cat? That sounds like a good thing to chase.
Now you gotta go chase it at dusk.
Yeah, I was dumb. By myself, no sidearm. That was in the truck.
No cell service.
No cell phone. I left that in
Oh,
the
you
truck.
didn't even bring it? Oh, okay.
No, and my dumbass left my windows down, my keys in the ignition, with my 28 sitting on the front seat. So, like, not only now, and I didn't think about any of this yet. So, what would you say that pitch is? Like 0 degrees? It's like in straight.
Where you came down is.
It's like straight up 90-degree angle at the bottom.
Yeah.
It's straight up.
It's pretty bad.
So I'm like, oh man, I'm Superman or whatever, and I go climbing up this thing to where I shot at the cat. So I like marked where it was off some rocks that were up at the top of this little tree. So I go up there, and I find the spot, and I catch his tracks where he ran. So I'm like, right here's where I must have shot at him, right? I'm thinking there's probably a 90% chance that I missed and a 10% chance that I hit him. And if I thought there was 1% chance, I was going to go make sure that he was not hit, right? So I go up there, I climb this thing. It's literally rock climbing like a face. And I got one trekking pole, so I'm like burying that in the ground behind me and pushing myself up. So as I get to the top of this thing, I'm up probably, like 20 feet at this point? There's
the top of that's probably 20 feet, yeah.
Well, it's like 25 to the top. I could reach up and grab this root. So I grab this root, and I pull myself up a little bit, and like kick my last handhold out from under my feet. Like I had used it on the way up for my hand, and then I stepped on it and thought it was solid. When I pushed off, it kind of wasn't there anymore. So I grab this tree, and I pull myself up on top of the cliff, not thinking yet, like, this is stupid.
How are you going to get down?
But also, even if I did think at this point this was dumb, I was already screwed.
You were already committed.
I was way up the cliff already.
Yeah.
So I could see my truck now from where I was up on the cliff. So I'm like, all right, well, if anybody drives by, at least I could see them, right, and yell at them, like, hey, get the hell out of my truck. So I go up there. I'm up on top of this thing, and at this point, I think I kind of started to think, like, this was dumb. But it was still light.
Okay, so I hadn't got a phone call from Chantel yet.
No, Chantel hadn't called you yet. So I go up there, and now it's like, it's still light, but up in the timber, now it's kind of getting darker. So I'm like, okay. So I click my flashlight on, I find the cat tracks, and I'm like, I don't see any hair, I don't see any blood. I walk up these tracks a little bit, still don't see any hair or blood for probably like 50 yards. So I'm like, okay, I missed this thing clean, right? So then I'm like, rats, I missed. Surprise, I missed something. For every animal I shoot, I miss like 5. So I'm like, oh, wow, surprise, that's the 3rd thing I've missed this year. I missed a bull,
But that wasn't.
yeah.
That was a good
Yeah,
shot though. That wasn't really a miss. That was a
I wasn't with you with the bull, so
that was a bad circumstance.
yeah.
I deflected an arrow on a bull. I flat out missed a doe at 55 yards with my bow, which looking back, it
You
probably
missed the bears at 4.
Oh, I did miss a bear. 4 animals I missed this year. That's pretty sad. So, anyways, that is really sad. So, I'm like, man, I missed, whatever. So then I like walked back to where I climbed up, and I looked down it, and I dropped an instant F-bomb, and I was like, you are an idiot. Why? Why did you even shoot at this animal? So it's one of those like shoot now, think later kind of situations. I'm sure you've all been there. Where you're like, well, that was dumb. So now I'm by myself, which just that in itself is like kind of eerie once it gets dark and you know there's a cat around, which was probably like 3 ridges over now because I shot at it.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's
at least at the top, 200 yards away.
Yeah, long gone.
Yeah.
So I'm like not worried about the cat coming back down. I'm making enough noise. It's scared. I'm like, okay. So I got my flash. I'm like flashlighting down this thing and I'm like, all right, I'm gonna head back down now. So I throw my rifle on my back over my shoulder, and I like shimmy down this edge. It's like hard to paint this picture. It was so stupid. Such a stupid decision. So I like shimmy down over the edge, and I'm like looking for that foothold that I apparently kicked out from underneath me. So I'm like hanging on to this root, and I'm in like sheep would have a good time going up this thing.
Yeah.
They would get up it easy.
They get up it, yeah.
But they'd be like, haha, we're sheep and you're humans. So
they'd be up and down it 10 times before you made it down.
They'd be like, yeah, keep bragging about your thumb, stupid human, because you're stuck up on a cliff. And so I like try to find. So I get like 5 feet down the thing and then realize I'm screwed. So I'm like, all right, time to recalculate. So I pull myself back up on that root in the tree. I'm like, all right, I'm gonna go find another way down. So I walk upriver, like probably 500 yards or so, and there was like a draw there. And I didn't get high enough. I was like walking kind of probably like 20 feet back off the cliff edge because I didn't want to slip and die, and I would have. If I fell off that thing, I would have been
potential. Yeah.
seriously screwed up.
Yeah.
Like definitely very injured.
Yeah.
So I like walk up there. I get cliffed out 600 yards above me. I'm like just giving myself the worst self-talk of my life. I'm just like, Royce, you effing idiot. Like, why in your right mind did you think this was a good idea? So now I check my watch. I'm like, okay, it's 7:30 or 7:20 something. I'm like, it's been dark for 50 minutes now. I'm still stuck up on this cliff. I'm like beating the brush to go this 600 yards, so it takes me 10 minutes. So I walk back down to my point of entry, and I'm like, all right, time to try again. So I try to shimmy back down. That doesn't work. Okay. So I get back down there, and then I like lose my footing, and I'm like, all kinds of swear words, legs are shaky, get that adrenaline pump. I'm like, gosh damn it, I'm gonna die. I'm literally going to die. And then I'm like, got this mantra in the back of my head where I'm like, Chantel's gonna kill me. Chantel's literally going to murder me. So, and I'm up in this. So then what did I do? I hiked down towards the train tracks, and I was too high to hit the like easy spot to walk down that we found out about the next day. It was like literally like a walk in the park. I could have just walked right off this mountain.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So I end up too high because I was staying away from the cliff because it got higher. There was like 50 feet, and I was terrified of falling off this thing. It's dark, and like all above it is
That
shale.
you would have died.
So I'm slipping around on this shale, and I'm like, so I'm way up off the cliff edge. So I walk back, I get cliffed out again. I could see train tracks and the river. So I'm like, don't want to go down there. So I walk back to my starting point. I'm like, what can I do here? So it was an area that had like some old burned timber in it. So I bust this, it was probably like a 8-inch fir. I bust it off of its stump, and I go to like ease it down the hill, hoping that it lands on its end. I didn't realize how far up I was still at this point. So I go to like ease it down the hill, hoping it lands on end, and I can like just straddle that thing and slide down it kind of. Dumb idea. It shoots off the mountain at like 40 miles an hour, and now I'm like, man, thank God my truck's not right there. So then I'm sitting on the mountain like contemplating all life choices. At this point, I'm ready to... So Chris knew where I was, and Chantel knew where I was. So I'm like, well, if I'm not home by 11, these guys are going to come driving up, and they know that I was going to come out this way, so they're going to come in the way I'm going to go out. They're going to find me. Like, I'm not
This-
that worried about it.
Little did he know, Chantel already had the search party going by 8:30.
Yeah.
And we were leaving the house by 9 if she hadn't heard from him.
9:30. You guys
9:30.
9:30.
Yeah.
So now it's like 8. It's like 8 at this point, and I'm like, gosh, what a freaking
It's about
moron.
what she called me.
What a moron. So to kind of summarize this thing, I end up getting like halfway, maybe not even halfway, like a third of the way down the cliff, and I've got my
About a
last
third.
handhold, which is like a nice, solid, like comfortable 6-inch root.
Mm-hmm.
So I take my trekking pole, dig out underneath it, so I have a nice like handhold. I can wrap my hand up underneath that, and I feel safe. So this whole time I'm like, why do I not have paracord or something to like tie myself off just in case I slip, right? So I'm like, well, I don't even have a belt on. I'm like, I don't even have a freaking belt. What the hell? So I'm like, oh, I got this.
Not that a belt there would have helped you.
No, it wouldn't have helped. But I'm thinking like, okay, I got a jacket, I got my pants. If I could tie a knot in the leg of my pants to the arm of my jacket, tie my jacket off, use that, I'm like, then I'm going to come down the hill. But then I had this image like, what happens if this doesn't get me all the way down and I'm just stuck on a mountain in my underwear, covered in sweat, and
Covered
it's
in-
45 degrees.
And road rash, too.
Road rash,
Sliding down the
sweat,
hill.
and it's 45 degrees.
Uh-huh,
So I'm like, okay, I'm going to die if I do that. But you guys would have found me before I died.
We would have found you before you died. Yeah.
But there would have been pictures taken.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Without a doubt.
Yeah. Before you guys rescued me, there would have been pictures taken.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
So I didn't want that situation either.
Hmm.
That'd be bad for my public image. That'd be a
It
pubic.
could go either way.
That would be a pubic image. So finally, this like thought comes into my head, and I gotta thank this guy on Facebook because he gave me these suspenders. I gotta find this dude, message him, and tell him that these suspenders I wouldn't say saved my
Not
life.
saved your life, but definitely saved you from breaking a leg, I think.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would have broke my leg. So I'm like hanging onto the root with my right hand. I'm anchored into nothing with my feet, pretty much. Like I dug out on the hill, so I had a foothold, and the First Light suspender clips are kind of like hard to get off. I'm wearing my First Light suspenders in my Walmart pants, and they're like kind of hard to get off. You gotta like pull a clip over to the side and then compress it, and then it's weird. If you guys have them, you know what I'm talking about. So with one hand, I unclip all of these suspender things. I loop it around the root that I'm holding on to, and then clip that off. And then I cut, I think it was my right side. I cut the right side suspender off, clipped it to the left side suspender, and I used it as I don't even know if it helped me or not. It was more of like a safe feeling that I had something to hold on to.
Mm-hmm.
So I like shimmy over to where there's this chute basically that rocks have been sliding down for 10 years. And I'm still probably like 15 to 18 feet, I don't know, maybe 20 above the ditch.
Solid 15.
Yeah. So I like wrap these suspenders around my hand. I'm like, all right, I'm gonna use this as like a brake, basically, like something to pull myself back with if I go to lose my balance forward. Excuse me. So I sit down on my butt and like shimmy myself over. I said a prayer, which at the end I think it kind of ended in like, Lord Jesus Christ, please don't let me break my leg. Which I felt like was a good ending to a prayer. Amen. Don't let me break my leg. Amen.
In that situation, yeah.
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 So I freaking cut my feet out and let her rip. I got my rifle strapped to the front of my chest so that I don't bang it up. It's my grandpa's rifle. I would have felt bad.
Yeah.
So I slide down this thing and I like land at the bottom. Don't get catapulted onto my face. Don't break my leg. Didn't catch my ankle on a rock. Like I was a little sore from like banging up on a few rocks on the way down. But all in all, my life was sort of, I guess my leg was saved by First Light suspenders.
Yeah.
So if you don't wear suspenders, you're wrong.
Well, I mean,
Okay, if you don't climb cliffs after mountain lions, you're smart. But if
in
you
the
do,
dark. In the dark.
in the dark. So anyways, I would say that's a don't.
That's a don't.
It definitely on the way. So I get, Chris's wife and Chantel both have this knack. For the moment you hit self-service, you get a phone call.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's like they just have some special call waiting program on their phone where it's just like the moment Royce hits service, he gets a phone call.
Yeah.
Which I can understand her in this situation. It was like maybe 9:15 now before she heard from me. It got dark at 6:30.
Yeah, it was just before we were getting ready to leave because I just finished helping my dad hang that deer and getting ready to go pick her up.
Yeah. And I'm trying to explain to her on the phone, which I answer, I go, hello? And she says, are you trying to give me an effing heart attack? And I'm like, well, no. Why? Did you have one? And she's like, what the hell? Basically just mad, right? I don't know why. She should be happy I'm alive. And not, I don't have a broken leg. So I tell her, like, the kind of gist of the story. And she's like, wow, you're an idiot, essentially, which was well-deserved.
Yeah, yeah.
But it definitely, she's like, guess what? You're going to spend your money on an inReach now. So she wants me to get one of the inReaches so that I could text her. Which, I understand that one. I'm out of service by myself quite a bit.
Yeah.
To where in that situation, I could have sent you a text that said, like, SOS. Save our SOL, save my leg. SML, save my legs.
I figured you would just said save your 28.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely get to my truck and lock it, and then come save me.
Okay, that's fair.
So that's
Priorities.
freaking so stupid.
The best part about it, though, was coming through there the next day. Hey, why didn't you go down right there? Or why didn't you go down over there? Or what about that one? That one would have worked.
Yeah.
No, you chose right down the middle in the steepest point of it.
You could say I'm a badass. Or a dumbass.
Dumbass. I'm going to go with dumbass, for sure. Yeah.
I think the best part of this entire thing will be that those suspenders will probably be hanging on that route until forever.
I don't know how anybody's going to get them.
No?
Unless they dig out footholds to climb up there.
I could probably climb up there and get them.
You have to get all the way back up to the route, though.
Yeah, but I know the way down.
That was what the... I guess you got to go all the way up to go down?
If I went all the way up, then I could come down the easy route.
Easy routes.
Yeah.
Routes, plural.
There was multiple easy routes. But everything looks different in the daytime.
That's fact.
So that's pretty freaking stupid. You got any more don'ts? Now that we went off on a crazy tangent
We
about
did go
how
off
I'm
on
an
a good
idiot.
tangent there, yeah. That was a solid one.
I'm an idiot.
Yeah.
Don't be an idiot.
Don't be an idiot. Yeah. That's another thing you hear every year. People getting lost, going in places they don't. They have no idea where about. They don't take maps. Don't take. They don't have like Onyx. That's a great product to have.
Yeah.
No.
If you're gonna go anywhere you don't know, you take that little 10 square mile picture.
Yep.
Or you could do 100. Right. That covers like everything we hunt. 100
Yeah.
square miles.
Yeah.
Just one big map and then a couple small maps.
Yep.
Detailed areas.
Yep.
But that's not a hunter etiquette don't.
That's not a hunter etiquette.
That's a don't be a
no.
dumbass.
That's
don't.
just don't be a dumbass. Yeah.
You got any more? I know there's like 1,000 of these hunter etiquette things we could come up with, but now that we're on the spot,
Should have made a list today.
should have made a list. This is where preparation is key, and that's like my one thing I'm bad at is preparing for these podcasts. I end up rambling.
But yeah, you got to take him hunting, and you got to wait 25 minutes because he's got 4 packs, his med kits.
Okay, I have one pack. I've got, but now with the filming stuff, I've got my pack, my rifle, or bow, or both,
Sometimes both.
a tripod, spotting
Spot
scope, binos, rangefinder. What else? Camera, 2 cameras.
2 cameras. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's getting a bit ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
My gear list is getting pretty crazy,
That is true.
but it's all for the love of it, man.
Yeah.
You got it.
Your phone scope adapter's in my truck, by the way.
Oh yeah, I left it in your visor.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. Any more big don'ts? What'd we cover? Not flashing people with your gun.
Mm-hmm.
Not blocking roads.
Mm-hmm.
Not complaining about ODFW all the time.
Mm-hmm. Not taking other people's game.
Yeah, not taking other people's game, man. We could go on that one for a while.
Especially waterfowl hunting.
Well, not even that. It's just so Oregon has a law where he who kills it owns it, which is crap. Because, like I've talked about before, I have a friend who shot a bull elk in a clear cut, and then it sounded like the cavalry was in town just banging shots off.
Yeah.
And some dude ran down that unit and claimed that elk. The only bull elk this guy's ever shot in his life. Claimed by somebody else who shot it after this guy mortally shot it.
The first 2 bulls my dad shot, he lost. The first one he shot, he was blood trailing it, and it died literally just above a road. Like
You shoot it with a bow?
no rifle.
Oh.
But it was a pretty steep unit. When he hit it, it just hauled to the bottom.
Mm-hmm.
And it died like 10 feet off the road just as somebody was coming by down below. And they happened to look up, saw it fall. And my dad was bombing down off the mountain to go get it. That person walked up there, slapped his tag around it, said, "Oh, sorry, my tag's on it." Then the second one, he shot it, gutted it out, laid a bunch of limbs and stuff on it so that nobody would see it, drove home to get help, came back, and somebody had come up there and taken his bull.
Man.
The
With his
first-
tag on it?
With his tag on it.
Jesus.
Yep, bull, his tag, bull, everything gone. All the sticks were moved out to the side. Yep.
Man.
First 2 bulls he killed. He almost gave up hunting.
Yeah, see, that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
That's one of those things. That guy from Go Wild shed some light on that for me. I'm like, maybe I need to not tell people they're assholes all the time.
Yeah.
But I don't. I just mind my own most of the time. You and I are in the same boat on that.
Yep.
I don't know. I can't think of many. I mean, like, on the spot, I can't think of many more don'ts. I don't know.
Not right offhand, I don't.
But there's a lot.
There's a lot.
If you're listening to this, you're probably thinking.
You're thinking of one right now.
You're thinking of one that we haven't named right
Yeah.
now, and you're gonna be like, "Why aren't these guys
Why
saying
are these
this?
idiots not talking about this?
Why?"
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess don't dishearten people from hunting, because you got to think. Say you're one of those guys that. Oh, here's one that gets me. People know where the hell you're hunting at. Like. Don't. I guess it's one of those like. Don't make something up to get somebody out of the spot that you want to be in.
Yeah.
So don't
Mm-hmm.
roll in and be like, "Oh yeah, I just passed up a forked-horn back there in the last unit. He's standing right there, a couple hundred yards," just so the guy leaves where you want to go.
Yeah.
Don't do that.
That's a real dick move.
Just move on, find something else. I don't know. There's a lot of things people do that piss me off that I'm just like, well, better off leaving it alone.
Mm-hmm.
Because no sense in fighting, arguing with people that you're
not gonna win.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
they're not thinking clearly in the situation, and you're just like, why? Why would you do that?
Yeah. Freaking frustrating. Well, if you don't have any more don'ts, I think we can wrap her up.
Yeah, not off the top of my head, I don't have a don't. Like I said, I'll probably, as soon as you hit stop, I'll probably think of one. Just be our luck.
Yeah. I'm sure I'll think of 5 right off the top once we hit stop.
Yeah.
Well, you got any closers? Or was the whole thing a closer?
Don't be a jackass.
Yeah.
I mean,
Straight up, just, yeah. I'm cutting into your closer. Go ahead.
oh no, you're good. You're good. It happens. But just think about it. If you're already sitting on the unit and somebody comes up behind you and does something like what we've discussed tonight, it's like, you want that to happen to you? The golden rule: do unto others as you wish you done to yourself.
Mm-hmm. Oh, don't steal game cameras.
Don't steal game cameras. Yeah,
You assholes.
yeah.
Not all of you. Just you if you've ever stolen a game camera.
Especially those timber cruisers that take them and then put their sign from their company right where the game cam used to be. That happened. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a don't.
Yeah.
Don't steal game cameras. We found a game camera this year.
We did.
We were like, respect, right? That's
Yeah.
another one. This guy had hiked down into the same crap hole that we hiked down
Crap
into.
hole.
It's really awful. But,
We still haven't even retrieved the camera we put up not far from that because we keep saying we're going to,
and it's miserable.
and it's miserable, so we haven't.
We should do that this week.
Batteries are probably dead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
Or the SD card's full of big bulls.
Hey, can't shoot them, but hey.
That's fair. But, yeah, this dude, this is what I do. With some people might disagree with this even. But this is what I did. Which I think is fair. We hiked down in this unit, set up our camera. I see this other guy had cut some limbs out, hung his own camera up. If you're listening, you're welcome for leaving your camera there because I'm a nice guy. So I see this other guy's camera down on the bottom of the unit. I sneak up behind the camera, giving myself the tactical advantage. I open the camera, retrieve the SD card, plug it into my camera, into my
SD card reader.
My SD card reader. I look over the pictures, which confirms the bulls that I saw in there with my binoculars are still in there. And then I put the SD card back in the camera with the picture still on it.
With the picture still on it.
Did not delete them. Put it back in. And then we placed a camera in a completely different spot down in the same hole. But where his camera was the same tree I was going to put a camera on.
Yep.
And
we pointed it out from the top when we walked down there and found that camera on it.
yeah. So I looked at the pictures. I was like, yep, sure enough. Then we walked, I don't know, 4 or 5, no, not that far. A couple hundred yards
a
up.
couple hundred yards.
And hung our camera somewhere else.
Mm-hmm.
That's what you do. And if you disagree with that, sorry for hurting your feelings.
Yeah.
But I didn't harm anything.
Nope.
I left the guy's stuff alone. And we went in there like another couple weeks later and his camera was gone. I went to check it again, honestly. I was like, well, I have 2 cameras in here now. I got this guy's and mine.
Yeah.
Might as well check it.
Yeah, might as well.
But I wasn't going to steal it.
Yeah.
I mean, and it was like a nice camera. It was like a $200 camera. It was a nice one.
Yeah. A guy I work with and then another guy that I hunt with hunt the same draw. And they've never seen each other in there, but they hunt the same draw, put up cameras in there every year and stuff. Well, this year I was talking to the guy I work with, and he told me he got his cameras put up and was all excited about it. And oh yeah, you put them in this spot? He goes, yep, sure did. That probably 20 minutes later, my buddy texted me and said that he went and got his camera set up in the same place. And I was like, yeah, did you happen to see anybody else's cameras? He goes, sure did. I go, yeah, well, what'd you do? He goes, well, you told me that other guy hunted it, so I walked in there and I mooned it. But he left the camera and walked out.
Yeah, you always leave people's trail cameras alone. Yep. It's the only right thing to do.
Absolutely.
If you steal them, you're a butthole.
Yeah, I don't know how many cameras I've seen that I've left.
Yeah, at least I've probably walked into like a dozen cameras. Oh, I still got that other camera up at the other spot too. I'm like losing track. I have too many now to where I'm losing track.
Yeah, we need to probably go put them down.
Of where all of them are. We need to go get those. Maybe we should do that this week.
Yeah.
But that's one of my big don'ts, man.
For sure.
Don't steal trail cameras. What else? Now I'm back on it. Now I can't just end this thing because I've got all these don'ts that I know are somewhere lurking in my mind. Came up with don't steal trail cameras. And that was just a random.
Yeah, that was random. That's probably...
Oh, hey, buttholes. Don't bust down gates, please. And don't...
Quit shooting them so they'll stop putting up more.
Yeah, please quit shooting gates. I'm getting real tired of people shooting gates.
I get it. It gets frustrating.
It does, but also, a lot of these gates, you can park your happy ass at and walk around.
Walk all the way
and guess what? Nobody's driven that road for a couple months.
Months, yeah.
Fire season coming to an end. You pull up, park off the road also, because if you park and block the gate, you're just as much of a douche. So you park, you walk around the gate. I've gotten into some pretty good hunting walking around gates. Mm-hmm. I'll tell you that trail camera that Chris and I found, and where we put up a trail camera, is a mile past the gate, 3/4 mile past the gate.
At least 3/4, yeah.
Yeah, and it's full of elk.
Deer.
Big deer. Seen
two nice bucks walking in there.
Couple nice bucks. I've seen big bear in there.
Some good bulls on the other guy's camera.
Yeah. Well, good bulls on our camera. We're calling it our camera.
Our camera.
It's just one of those things, man. It's somebody else's property. Like, I understand it's a BLM road. It's technically public accessible land. But you don't own that. It's the timber rights are owned by a timber company, right, or by the private landowner, and they're being kind enough still to allow you access to hunt that. Mm-hmm. Whether you agree or you don't agree that they should be able to designate whether you hunt it or you don't, they do legally, that they get to decide. And so by you defacing their property, shooting their locks, pulling their gates down, driving around the gates,
throwing your trash out there,
all you're doing is... Oh, Chantel joined.
Hi, Chantel.
All you're doing is creating like this freaking mega gate episode where they start putting up gates everywhere because... Or like people drive around gates rather than walk around them, then they put the gate higher up the road and then you can't drive around it anyways.
Yep.
It's like they don't care. It's not a big expense to them to pay a guy to come put a gate in. They're gonna do it.
Yep.
So just be respectful of that. Don't go in and tear stuff up. And if you are on a road, oh yeah, here's a don't. Put your freaking truck in 4-wheel drive.
Oh.
Gosh, if you're going up something steep and gravelly, please put your truck in 4-wheel drive because washboards suck.
Washboards suck. There's nothing better than sitting on a unit and listening to somebody come all the way up the road, just freaking spinning out the whole time.
Drives me crazy. We just set up the live video on Instagram. I probably should have thought about doing it earlier, but anyways.
Could have got more don'ts.
Oh, we could have got more don'ts that way. Hey, real quick, Jonathan, I see you jumped in. Kong Valley Collective, shout out. You got any don'ts? You got any hunter etiquette don'ts?
The don't be that guy.
Don't be that guy. John, I know you got one because you're like a fiery, I would call you a redhead, but you're not. You're the fiery brown man, fiery big brown man. Does the fiery brown man have any don'ts? I need to know. He says, "What's up, Royce? How you doing, buddy?" It's not a don't. You do be Royce's friend. He's cool. While we wait, though, you got any randos? It's weird right now that we're on the spot. It's hard.
Like I said, as soon as we end this, I'm going to think of something and I'm pissed.
But it's all the little things that can pile into it.
Mm-hmm.
It's not necessarily just the big things. John just says, haha. He doesn't have any. Garrett's here. Garrett probably has a
Garrett's got a don't. Come on, Garrett.
Garrett is on the live video. Garrett, we are talking about don'ts. Don't be that guy in the woods. If you got a don't, I want to hear it, Garrett. On Point Podcast. Shout out to Garrett. He's watching the live video because he cares about me as a person. Yeah, I don't know.
Go that far with it?
Maybe. Maybe I'd go that far. Jonathan says, "Don't cry about getting your ass handed to you by the public land ranch." It's a good one. Don't cry. We kind of covered that, Jonathan. We did say that don't road hunt all day and then blame ODFW for not seeing any bucks. So we sort of covered that one already. Yeah, I don't know.
If you're not willing to work for it, you're not going to get anything.
I mean,
you get the lucky guys out there. Don't get me wrong. I mean,
there's guys every year. You always see the guys that are like, they don't hunt hard.
Mm-hmm.
Every year, like, I feel like you can easily shoot a forked horn from your truck every year.
Yeah.
So you'll see the guys that shoot a forked horn every year, and then boom, they shoot a big buck. And they're just the lucky bastard that happened to be cruising along the road at that time. Ugh. Well, I think we're out of don'ts.
Yeah.
These doers ain't giving me any don'ts. Wow, that was some illiterate English that I just spoke. That was Spanglish. So I think we're going to end it there then. I think we summed up the poor hunter etiquette. We're going to make another list of don'ts and do a Don't Be That Guy episode 2 after the end of the season. End of waterfowl season, end of late archery season, end of our elk seasons. When we have new don'ts, we're going to make a list, and we'll do a Don't Be That Guy number 2. Garrett says don't assume there's not an animal in a certain spot. That's understandable.
Yeah, absolutely.
I agree with that one. I feel like that's... Oh, like bears. Oh, John smoked a buck tonight? Tonight? Didn't the season end yesterday?
The season ended yesterday.
You can't smoke a buck tonight. Unless you smoke...
Unless you put it in the smoker
Yeah.
and smoked it.
Yeah. I'm curious, John. I'll text you later, man. For now, we're gonna wrap up the podcast, wrap up the live here. This thing will be launched, I don't know, tomorrow because I'm lazy and starving for content. Chris, thank you for joining me.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm sure it won't be the last time now that I've popped your podcast cherry.
Probably not, no.
I have so many podcast firsts. All of my guests are first-time podcasters because nobody cool loves me. Oh, John.
Draw tags.
John had a draw tag. Okay, I accept that. Nobody that's cool loves me besides Michael T. Merrill. Garrett, see you later, buddy. Thanks for tuning in. All right, Chris. Now I can ask you again for a closer. Do you have a closer?
Well, you ruined my last one, so...
I said I ruined it and I apologize. You said it was fine.
That's true.
No, is it still just don't be a jackass?
Just don't be a jackass.
Yeah, just be nice to people.
I mean,
Be nice, hunt hard, do what you do.
Hunt hard. I mean, like we said, you can be that one lucky guy that finds one in a unit somewhere, but you're gonna find better odds if you get out there and hit the woods.
Yeah.
Break some brush.
We're guilty of it.
Oh yeah.
You
absolutely.
get down on the old morale,
Yeah.
and you're lazy, and you're like, I'm gonna go check out some country today.
First couple days of the doe season, I was all about it.
Mm-hmm.
Then truck after truck after truck after truck on every unit on every road. Yeah, I wanted to go find something new.
Yeah. So guys, girls, hermaphrodites, gender X's, LGBTQ community, I thank you all for listening.
Reach out to them all.
Dude, I reach out to everybody. I don't discriminate here.
Fair. Got it.
Yeah. It's the Bowhike podcast, man. We're all about everybody.
Hey, you want to go shoot a bear? Let's go.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that too. If you want to come shoot a bear. I think even for out of state, the tag's only $16.
It's not much.
Yeah, the license is something, and the tag's like $16.
License is gonna run you the most.
We want to go bear hunting, and we run out of tags quick.
Yeah.
So I need to start that hashtag, but it's like a super long one.
Yeah.
It's gonna be #. If you have a tag, I'll still go hunting with you.
We could convince Garrett to put down his bow for a day. We could probably get him a bear.
Yeah, I don't know if Garrett wants to put down the bow. Garrett, put down your bow. Come shoot a bear for once. And a real bear, big bear,
Yeah, big one.
big bear.
Not those mittens.
Oh, we have to flick you crap, Garrett, only because you tuned into the live video. But yeah, I agree with you, Chris. My closer would only be don't be a jackalope, be a nice guy. And all of you listening that tune in weekly, I say weekly loosely because I've been slacking lately, but big things coming. I got some big guests coming on here soon. And by big guests, I mean slender guests that are big in the industry, not necessarily big guests. We're not talking physically large. Anyways, guys, girls, all of you, appreciate you tuning in. Thanks for listening. Chris, if they want to check you out, not that you do anything cool, but
I don't do anything on mine.
you should.
But if anybody needs a Euro mount done,
Oh yeah,
Hit
we
me
didn't
up.
even talk about Euros.
we didn't. But we were on an ethics thing today.
Yeah, but you could still have a selfless plug.
Okay. Well then, if anybody needs a Euro mount done, deer, elk, bear, I don't
Antelope.
care. Antelope.
Mallard ducks.
Yeah, ducks.
Chris has.
Badgers.
Oh, we did that mallard skull. That came
Yeah.
out pretty cool.
Yeah.
So Chris has dermestid beetles, right?
Yep.
He's got a colony of beetles and a wife that hates him.
That's a fact.
But
yeah.
he's a very fair priced guy on European mounts. Right now, it basically kind of local. Oregon, super northern California maybe.
I don't have any from California yet.
I know,
I've
but
got a few from
you
Portland
would do
area.
them.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
If you got Chris will meet
Actually, I got a buck yesterday from California.
you. Okay, so you have one now.
Yeah, I got one from California.
So if you want a European mount, Chris does some pretty slick mounts. He doesn't have a company name yet,
No.
but if you guys have an idea for one, give it to him.
Yeah.
Because he needs one. And I keep telling him to pursue this because he doesn't want to retire from the mill. So, anyways, if you need a Euro mount, he's got the beetles. He bleaches them out. He can torch the skulls. If you want them on a plaque, he can get you a plaque. He can do all the cool stuff.
Yep.
And it's a pretty fair price, I will tell you that. We're not going to name prices because they might change. You never know.
That's true.
But definitely hit him up. Facebook, Christopher Murphy. It will show me as a mutual friend if we're friends. Instagram.
MERP887. MURP 887.
Okay. And then you don't have anything else. What's your email?
ChristopherMurphy40@gmail.com.
All right.
And
I'll
it's
put
like
this
a mile
all.
and a half long. So
Yeah, I'll put it all in the show notes. If you guys want a Euro mount, Chris does a freaking killer job.
Yeah, hit me up.
And gets the turnarounds faster than any other taxidermist I know.
2 to 3 weeks.
Yeah. Quick turnaround, comes out super clean. He'll meet you somewhere to pick it up from you.
Mm-hmm.
Just make sure there's no fly blow on it. Freeze that
Please.
thing. Yeah,
Please.
fly blow will kill his beetles.
If there's a ton of fly blow on it, I got to do it the old-fashioned way. Boil it, pressure wash it.
Yeah.
But you get it to me with no fly blow, beetles will clean it up.
So, Christopher Murphy on Facebook. It will show Royce Chambers and the Bowhike Podcast as mutual friends.
Yep.
Instagram, MERP887. I think it will show us, maybe it'll show us as mutual friends on there. I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know how Instagram works.
I don't either.
Yeah. And then soon he'll have a Go Wild, and I'm going to put that up in the show notes also, because that website's cool. That app is cool, I guess. Anyways, guys, thanks for tuning in. Till next week,
weeks.
Weeks. No, it's going to be week.
Oh, okay, week.
Week. I've got the big, we're doing that rifle. I'm going to do the rifle series with Aaron.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, we're going to do a tune-up for your rifle, big reloading series. So if you guys got questions on that, definitely message me. Now we're going to put this to an end since we've been rambling on. 3, 2, 1, end.
All right. Thanks again for tuning into this week's episode. I hope you got some laughs and some enjoyment out of that. I'm sure some of you guys can relate to some of the things that we talked about. If you can, definitely let me know which ones irk you the same way they irk me. And if I missed any that you want us to cover in Don't Be That Guy 2.0, which we'll do after a couple of our hunts are over with and we have some new material, definitely shoot me a message and let me know. I want to highlight those. Definitely want to get the viewers, what a dummy, want to get the listeners involved. So shoot me a message. Let me know what you thought. Leave a 5-star review and a comment. That would help out the podcast a ton. That is the way that you can help me be better. So definitely do that if you think about it. Guys, thanks again for your listenership. I cannot express my gratitude enough. I wouldn't be doing it if it wasn't for you guys listening. So thanks for that. And until next week, thanks so much for listening to the Bowhike Podcast. I'm out of here. Bye.